Can everybody see the screen, my shared screen? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. It's always a good start. Right. Well, good morning and welcome to this morning's business bulletin webinar, which is marketing to your existing customers. I guess most of you probably know me. For those that don't, I'm Andy Sarson of APS Marketing Consulting. So a little bit about me just before we get into the webinar. I've spent more than 25 years in marketing management roles, both agency and corporate side, working on national marketing campaigns worth a few million quid, and to working alongside local retailer networks with budgets of just a few hundred. So I've seen quite a broad spectrum. But since January 2018, I've set up and been running APS Marketing Consulting to help, as the slogan says, make the marketing pieces fit by developing and delivering marketing strategies, plans and activities to help the business grow. So if you or any other startup you know or established business needs a bit of marketing support, send them my way. Right, that's my pitch out of the way. I thought I'd get that one in early, and let's crack on. So skip that bit. Let's get into a good bit. Right, so marketing to your existing customers. What you're going to get this morning is just a sort of brief overview, really, a few facts and tips and hints to remind you just how valuable your existing customers are. I suppose it's quite normal that many businesses focus on new business. You know, we must get new clients, must find new business. But is this at a cost of building a relationship with those all important existing customers? I call them your low-hanging fruit, because they're people who have spent money with you already. They know you, and you know, likelihood is they want to do business with you again. So I mean, if you're anything like me, when you see offers come up in front of you from businesses that, you know, you've spent quite a lot of money with, like a mobile phone provider, that's where our friend in the picture on the right is yelling down his phone. So, you know, a current mobile provider offers a better deal to new customers. How often have we seen the small print at the bottom saying new customers only? I mean, the likelihood is, at the end of it, you'll vote with your feet and go elsewhere where you can get a better deal. So that's why investing in your existing customers is most important to your business. A little few facts to understand before we get into some tips. New customers. I mean, research has shown, and then there's many pieces of research on the internet, research has shown that new customers are 5 times more expensive to get than existing ones. So why wouldn't you speak to your existing customers? Probability of selling to an existing customer, 60 to 70%. Whereas a probability of selling to a new prospect is only 5 and 20. So you've got much better chance of getting something out of your existing customers than you have new ones. And obviously, I'm not saying new customers aren't important, because they are, but make sure you don't ignore your existing ones. So it really proves, I suppose, that looking after your low-hanging fruit, your existing customers, is not only sensible but profitable. Okay, so good reasons to market to your existing customers if you didn't need any more. Existing customers are one of, if not the best source of increased business and profit for you. You've already invested your time, money and energy to start building a relationship with them. And they bought from you, and as long as the experience was good, they will buy again. Trust you. and enjoy the experience of dealing with you. More importantly, they will tell their friends and family. And this is where I get a pat on the back from Jackie Sherman, because I'm starting to talk about referrals, and there's nothing she likes better than that. So I asked the big question, so why do so many companies communicate so poorly with their existing customers? They forget about them and obviously put most of their resources to getting new business all the time. So what I'm going to try and do this morning is just go through a few tips and hints of just things you can think about talking to your existing customers about. I mean, the most important thing obviously is talk to them. How often you do this? Well, that really isn't important. But what's important is that you do it. You can stay in touch. You can use things like blogs, emails, social media. I mean, there's so many options these days to communicate with your existing customers. Tell them about a sales event, anything special you've got happening, or anything new happening to the business. You know, any change of direction, something new you're offering, perhaps. Get personal. Now, getting personal is not what you might think, but getting personal is about building that personal relationship, finding out more about your customers. It's sort of remembering birthdays and anniversaries, which sounds a bit cheesy, but customers like it. It makes them feel wanted. And when they need your products and services, you want them to think of you. You want them to think about your business name. So maybe, as I say, just think about sending a card on special occasions, birthdays, anniversaries, promotion events, or simply to say hi. Nothing more than that. Show your appreciation. This helps to build loyalty. It could be something very simple. Sorry, I think my technology is a little bit slower than me. I'm pressing the button. It's taking a few seconds to come along, but it gets there in the end. So anyway, we press on. It's maybe something like just a free voucher for a local coffee shop. You know, have a cup of coffee on me. A simple thank you means a lot to existing customers and makes them have that warm feeling inside about you and your business. Spread some good news. Now, by this, I mean, if there's anything written about you, if there's a positive article, send copies via a web link or in an email to your customers and clients. Let them know what's going on. If you're quoted in a news piece online, for instance, use it in an email, use it in your blog, refer to it, let people know what's going on. Independent items, I always find, I mean, this is where a good PR service sometimes comes into its own, helps keep you front of mind, and it increases confidence in your business, and it's sort of encourages people to think about you and recommend you to others. Manage your reputation. Now this one's sort of an important one, really, because, you know, however good we are, sometimes you will get the odd unhappy customer. Now, you know, they'll all get complaints and issues, but deal with it quickly and deal with it offline. Don't get involved in an online conversation of any sort on social media, because it only reflects badly on you. A good customer service obviously encourages repeat business and will bring you new business long term. I mean, some might say this is customer service and not marketing, but it's another very important touch point. So as I say, I can't impress more than that. If you do get a customer dispute, then deal with it offline and deal with it quickly. Usually it sounds worse than it is. Ask for feedback. Now, I think we're all guilty of this sometimes, of not asking people for reviews and not asking for feedback on what they think of the experience they've had with you. So just ask them. You know, don't be shy, don't be embarrassed to ask if they've enjoyed the experience with you. Good reviews and that valuable information helps steer your business growth. If customers are happy with the experience, they're usually happy to say so. But it also shows that any concerns you get coming up, you take them seriously. So existing customers will have some sort of sense of ownership with you. And if you do become more loyal to you and your service or products. Follow up. Well, we all know we should be following things up, sometimes not as quickly as we should do, but this is crucial. Regular contact builds your relationship and trust with your customers, and then you reap the benefits from referrals. Now, ask yourself a few questions. How often do you communicate with your existing customers? Just think about that for a moment. The frequency, the content, the tone, how you do it. What do I have to offer my existing customers that would tempt them back? Is this loyalty rewards, exclusive offers? What would happen if I increased my contact with them over the coming months? Would that reap benefits? Can I clearly explain better specific benefits and increased value they will receive from you? I can't impress, as I say, the this need to contact people on a regular basis, your existing customers, because it's most important. So what you need to ensure from that is your database is GDPR compliant, of course, but it's up to date. Cleanse it. It's a good idea, and I'm sure Ashish will back this up, to have a good CRM system. But do your research and find one that suits you. Don't just buy something off the shelf, because some of those off the shelf versions, whilst they cost a lot of money sometimes, there's a lot of features in them that you'll probably never use. So there's lots of free ones, some paid for ones, and I know Ashish will do a bespoke one that's relevant just to your business, but depends what you want, but do your research on that. Have a sound contact strategy. Sorry, the slides just got, that's it. Have a sound contact strategy. By this, I mean, you know, contact people and a plan to contact them on a regular basis. Know when you're going to talk to them and know what you're going to talk to them about. The content is as crucial to the frequency. Now, time. This is your time. Now we know everyone's busy, but the time you devote to it is important. Don't try and do everything in a rush. It's a crucial part of the equation to get right. And finally, on this is make sure you have a sensible budget to maintain this important cog in your business, as I call it. Now, there's no point having grand plans that you can't afford or you haven't got time to fulfill. So think it through, have a sensible budget that's affordable to you. As I say, there's no point doing something that you can't push through. And that's really it, the hints and tips this morning. So it's a nice short one, short and to the point, and hopefully you've got a few ideas out of it. Has anybody got any questions?
Just sorry, just a comment, Andy.
Yeah.
I've always banged the drum about not being a stranger to your existing clients, because I think people get very overexcited about potential of new clients and
Yeah.
do actually forget, because I think it's people's natural inclination is to look for this sort of sexy new client rather than actually what they're used to. So it's almost like that, oh, well, we've done that now, we'll move on. But I do think for me and for us, our existing clients have been a fantastic source of support and referrals. That's meant that we haven't had to panic about new clients very often.
Yes.
Because they just give you warm leads.
Yeah.
If they say, oh, this great person to price this service for us, and someone else go, oh, yeah, we'll give them a go, because they actually trust them and know them. It's not rocket science, is it?
It's not rocket science at all. And as I said, you know, they're your existing customers, as they've enjoyed the experience and have bought a good service from you or good products from you, they are your most valuable asset at the end of the day. They will pass referrals to you unknowingly. Sometimes they'll just be recommending to friends and family. Sorry, I'm just going to shove you all back on the one screen, so I'm looking down at the camera. It's better. Yeah, they'll be referring their friends and family. If those friends and family had a good experience as well, then they'll be referring their friends and family, and so on. It could save you money as well in the long run. So thank you for that comment, Mark, and totally agree with you.
Any other comments or questions for Andy on marketing in general? I mean, I think it is an opportunity now. I know not everybody's just sort of like sitting idly at home, but you know, if you do have space and time, then you know, there's nothing wrong with going through your existing client base or possibly prospect base and just touching base again with them. I think what's come out of some of these webinars is, you know, don't dive in with a sort of sales pitch or something like that. It's just sort of be genuine about it and just sort of see how people are doing. And just make that connection. I know Mark Costa.
It's sort of having a good communication plan. I mean, I know that sounds grand, but as I said, it's just simply talking to people sometimes in whatever communication method you choose, whether it's an email, whether it's picking up the phone and talking to them. But just talk to them. It just reminds them you're still there. It reminds them that they had a good experience when they did do business with you, and it encourages them next time to come back, you know, whether it be in a month or 6 months time.
Yeah, so some of you know Mark Costa, graphic designer. He's been doing just that, you know, calling 2 or 3 people a day. Again, just check in with them, find out how business is, how life is for them. No agenda, not looking for, you know, have you got logos you need designing on your table or leaflets you're not doing, you know, something like that comes up, it's a bonus. But I think now's the time, we've said it before, how you show up in terms of connecting with customers, prospects, being out there connecting with people, I think will have an impact when we come through the other side. You know, if you are engaging, if you are marketing, if you are continuing to raise your profile, I think people will remember that. And I think you're easily forgotten if you cocoon your business now and just think you can pop up and start marketing in X weeks time when we're, you know, on the other side. It doesn't really work like that, does it, Andy?
No, precisely. I mean, it's I've had a couple of people say to me, well, I'm just going to cut my expenditure and, you know, just sort of sit and ride it out while the lockdown's on.
Yeah.
And I'm really encouraging people not to do that. It's not that you shouldn't look at and review your marketing plans and strategies. You should do, and this is a good opportunity to do so. But you just might have to tweak them or change the way you're communicating. You know, we're all doing that now by being on the Zoom thing when we normally perhaps be sitting in a room somewhere. But as I say, there's no. You keep the flag waving, as I always say. Let people know you're there. Let them know that you're still in business. give them helpful tips and useful information about your products and about your services, about what you can offer. They may not be in the market to buy now, but in the future, once we come out of all this this situation, chances are they will remember you because you were the person that were there sort of giving them some good information, being interesting, and they'll be ready to spend money with you when they want your services.
Of any that are on this session, have you changed your marketing approach? Have you done anything differently? How have you adapted in the current climate versus what you were doing sort of pre-C? Mark?
Yeah, just adding to what Andy said and answering your question, a number of my clients are still working, but they're having to work differently. So I've got a couple of clients where there's just one person going into their office and they're effectively working in isolation. So when I call them, which I do on at least a fortnightly basis, they've always got quite a lot to talk about because they're actually quite lonely.
Yeah.
Feeling like they're a bit ignored because they're not having the normal interaction even with their own people who are working. And particularly when you get people working from home, they actually quite appreciate having a chat and just being able to sound off about a few things or use you as a sounding board. So it is really useful. But I schedule that because I don't want to forget people and I want them to think at the end of all this, oh yeah, Mark contacted me, he's obviously shown an interest and seen if we were okay. Because it's very easy to think, oh, they'll be fine and in 3 months' time they'll just carry on using you. But I honestly think there are a lot of businesses that have, for instance, businesses who've just furloughed themselves because they can and are not in contact with clients. Yeah. They have a rude awakening when they try and switch back on because people will have moved elsewhere and people have long memories and they remember the fact that they were let down.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Stephen Mather.
Yeah, so my marketing hasn't changed because of coronavirus, but it's changed because I'd set up on my own, leaving a law firm. But in the law firm that we had a reasonably sizable marketing budget, but we could track then what worked and what didn't work. And one of the things that they didn't really do very well was, as Andy was saying, marketing to existing customers. And doing that, it's a no-brainer. We had a database of thousands of existing clients and we didn't contact them. Now my difficulty is I wasn't contractually allowed to bring across thousands of clients, so I'm starting with new clients. But one of the things that I did differently, and it's been, I would say it was worthwhile doing and reasonably successful, is I brought a list of from Experian, a list of email addresses of certain types of people that you can target really quite nichely. So I looked at what my ideal client is, owner managed businesses turning over between £1 million and £10 million in this particular region. And for actual very little cost, I bought 1,000 email addresses for £130, I think it was.
Yeah, it's not
and write them into my email list, and emails, they get opened about 25% at the minute being opened.
Right. Interesting. Okay.
That's
Experian
already paid for
its service
fees, and it seems to be pretty worthwhile because you don't need to do 1,000 email addresses. You could do 100 if you wanted, and do that as a starting point.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. Ashish, you've politely risen your hand.
Yes, I would like to acknowledge everything what Andy said. Of course, it is far more easier to market your existing customer than finding new one, especially at these difficult times. I have given a call to my existing customer base now twice since all these began, and I have got the responses which were sometimes overwhelming as well, and they appreciated my effort. And this is I'll give you an example as well. They are event management company based in Leicester, and event like industry, as you know, are the badly hit, one of the badly hit sector, and they just signed a contract with us for the portal work of around £15,000, and they just paid our initial bid. and every month they're supposed to pay around £3,000. And then I called them and said, if you are not in a position, then please don't feel that you have to pay because you have signed the contract. You can hold out the payment, and work-wise is fine because I don't have much to do. So work will carry on. And then when these things seems to get over, then of course you can carry out your payments. And they appreciate it so much. And from the result, they have introduced one of their client. Now it's very, very close to become my client as well. And that, again, the meaty customer, because that company is quite a large company. And yes, this is a time where you have to help and support each other. It's not about money affairs at this time, basically. But yeah, if you help someone at this time, they will remember all their life.
Yeah.
I might get shot down by Stephen by saying this, but I think now's the time to be flexible, and enforcing terms and conditions probably isn't necessarily the way forward if you've got situations. It's trying to be a little bit flexible, like you say, Ashish, but doing what you're doing has added some value to them, value to you, and it's an all-round good thing. But I've come across certain people that have been quoting terms and conditions saying you still got to pay me, or you can't cancel this, or you can't do that, and you just think, well, okay, great, that's not really going to do me any favors long term. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying terms and conditions aren't important, but I think there's a time and a place when you start to call them into play, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree, Paul. They're meant to be a backstop, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're there just in case you need to enforce them, but customer service overrides all of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Reputational issues right now. You only have to look at people like Weatherspoons and Virgin. Like, everyone's written them off completely.
Yeah,
I know. It's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. Charles, you've got your hand up.
Oh no, it was basically just to say that, like, I agree with everything, and I'm doing everything that everyone said. My business is one of those that got hit very hardly, so I had to change my complete marketing strategy. And it's actually been quite nice because I've started emailing my customers, and the response back, they've appreciated that it's a human touch. And rather than the generic stuff, I've actually been human about it, going, look, guys, if you need help, come say hello. And I've actually met quite a few people from doing that. Like, I'd only ever contacted them through email, but they've actually given me a call, and I've actually built relationships on it. So it's quite nice.
No, I think it's absolutely the right thing. Anybody else? Liz, are you waving? Yeah, Liz?
For me, the difference in communication has been the request for more sort of behind the scenes stuff. So people have wanted to know what I do and how I do it behind the scenes rather than the end product. So I'm a caterer, and my business is catering, and primarily it was buffets and evening meals. So for me, it's been, whilst that's continued, not the buffets, but evening meals have continued, but people have wanted to know how I do it, what I do it, where I work, and giving out, tips and information. So that's been a major difference for me. I also do a lunch club, so I would have ordinarily, for the elderly, so ordinarily we would meet monthly, and but now that has generated into a phone call, and my goodness me, they're so appreciative. As you said, Charles, it's different. You just communicate on a different level entirely, and because it's one-to-one rather than a group session, there's a lot more value in that, and I know they speak to their families, and I know that their families really appreciate it. So yeah, it's just responding to the needs that are, identifying the needs that are completely different in the world that we are all living in now, but that's the collective. And as you say, Weatherspoons got that spectacularly wrong, didn't they? Spectacularly wrong. So it'd be interesting to see what they do to redeem the client base that they had previously. Can't all be financial, can it?
Don't know.
That one's pretty easy, actually, because the people that go to Weatherspoons will just go on price. So all they'll do is they'll cut the price, and then people go, oh, well, yeah, they're cheap though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Most people will forgo their virtues.
Factor. Has to be a redeeming factor of whoever is sitting in the corner.
I think after the initial euphoria of people being able to go back to the pub, I think quite a lot of people have got used to not going. and it's a dangerous time. So I think the Witherspoons thing, I'm not sure about that. I think that's going to get raked up a bit like Ratner's. It's going to get raked up over and over again at what that idiot said in the first instance.
Yeah.
Here's hoping.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to do him any favours.